Well, I was just out here following some of these deer trails, and I normally wear my sunglasses, and I was just going like this, ready to put them on when I'm walking back into the sun, and I look and I see a side. So, first side of the year, here we go. Let's go pick it up. I'll show you what I can see from here. It's kind of hard to tell, but basically, right there, I see it looks like a 4-point. Turns out that it's an old shed. I don't know how I missed this sucker last year, but I did. And it might be a couple. Oh geez, we're frozen into the ground here. I don't know how I'm able to get this out. Well, heck of a buck. Real nice. Actually like a 6-point side. Not a huge deer, but a good one. I'm assuming this shed's like 2 years old, so I've missed this sucker for 2 years in a row. I'd love to see what he looks like this year. He might actually be the wide one that I'm after, which I know dropped. Kind of looks real similar. He's just a real wide 10. He kind of lost that little G6 or G5 on one side, but yeah, it's a great little shed. Great way to start the year. Now technically this is not my first shed of the year. You can't start counting your sheds until you have a fresh one. Those are the rules that I play by with my group of guys. It's kind of a strange rule, but technically your shed count doesn't start until you get a fresh one. All right, well, a little bit of the snow has melted and I'm right back in this piece of property looking for the same target bucks. My goal today is to try to pick up that short tine 10. You know, I know he shed on December 24th. At least at one side, and then the other day I was driving by and I saw 2 shed bucks come out of here, and then 2 bucks still holding. So there's got to be at least 4 antlers in here somewhere or another. But you know, I've already hit this property once, and I think probably one of the biggest things I do is it's kind of boring, but you got to go hit the same stuff that you've already hit once. Now I've got my little, you know, bedding areas and my little travel corridors and my little food sources, and I know a lot of shed hunters will go through and look once and then they'll move to another spot and keep moving around, and they don't go back and hit the same stuff over and over. You got to do it. You got to keep going to the same spots over and over if you know they're good spots. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll just come in to a specific little area and I'll take a different angle. A lot of times that's all it takes to find an antler. You know, I'll cut my tracks all the time, but in a different direction, and that's all it takes. A lot of times that antler, if it's leaning like this and you're walking straight on, you don't see it. And then you come in from a different angle and it's laying like this and it's wide open. You know, that happens to me all the time. So it's probably one of the best tips I could give you is, you know, deer will shed absolutely everywhere. There is no rhyme or reason where they're going to shed, when they're going to shed. You know, it's funny, we actually had a bunch of rain come through here, and my first thought was those deer, when it's rain and ice and snow, you know, they're going to get out there and they're going to shake their heads, and they're going to, you know, they violently shake when they're trying to shake the water off. So like I said, I hope maybe that's what happened in those that other shed buck is somewhere in here, but like I said, I know the short tine 10's in here somewhere, so I'm just gonna keep looking. We're gonna get going in and around here. Hopefully that other shed buck that I saw with him the other day was that huge 8. I'd really love to get his sheds. I've got like 4 years to him, so we're gonna get moving. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna keep looking, and as I see some sign, we'll probably stop and investigate a little bit. I'm trying to pick some new tree stand locations for this spot. Long story short, I've actually been hunting sort of the edge of it. I've just granted permission to kind of hunt the interior, and I don't know how to do it yet because it's a big giant bedding area. So I think I'm probably going to stay relatively close to the edge where I can see a little bit further. It's very, very thick in here, and that's why the bucks are here, and that's why the does are here. They absolutely love this thick, dense cover. So let's get moving. Let's see what we can come up with. All right, well, I was just coming down this line, kind of looking for a spot to put a tree stand. I got a dead opossum over there, and then this is kind of where the pine trees meet the rest of the brush. I'm looking down this line thinking, right when I get to this point here, be a great spot for a stand. I could sneak in and along this little edge here because all the destination food is out there. So in the mornings, I could just come through here, nothing would see me. I could climb up in there, and then they filter on back to the bedding. And kind of just milling around, just looking. There's a really big rub here on a giant fence post. It's not the property line. The property line is actually a little bit further over, but I'm like thinking, wow, that's really cool. And I look, I got one horn there, and I got another horn right there. I would be willing to bet that 2 bucks were actually fighting, probably sparring around, and knocked one horn off each side. These are 2 little bucks that we've got on the property. One's got some killer genetics. He's a descendant of our big giant drop tine buck that's been running around here for years, but this is like a sure thing. When you find this, I mean, it's got to be a sign. That's my tree. Look at this rubbing post here, which is so cool. There's horn number 1, and there's horn number 2. Yeah, pretty fresh little mini drop tine. So this buck is he's got the genetics. He'll be an absolute tank if he's anything like his grandpa. Big brow, and then he has a little drop. And this deer, yeah, he's all right. 1.5 years old, and probably a 2-year-old in this deer. But both of them are pretty regular on the property. Yeah, good bucks. We'll take it. So this is officially shed number 3 or 2 and 3. Off to a good start. But back to the stand, most importantly, what happens is, gosh, it's just got a ton of cover up there. And then these deer are all out here in these destination food fields. And they'll want to go out there at night, or they'll come back from the morning. Now there's a big creek crossing over here somewhere, and luckily I can shoot. If I'm up there, I can shoot this whole line here. And I think there is a creek crossing somewhere over here. We'll check it out. But that's a done deal on the stand. What a great spot. Yeah, right here. Check this out. Two big slides there. They slide right down. I could just imagine a big old bruiser coming across here, winding up right in front of me. Watch them come across that creek. That'd be really cool. Gotta love it. All right, well, we got a good one. It's right over here, and I think I know exactly who it is. Here's what's crazy. I was just over here looking at the spot where I kept my camera, which was on this little scrape right here. I had it up against there, and where I was getting a lot of pictures of these deer was right in this little gap. That's that little gap. I've got a bunch of deer cruising. It's just sort of a little creek crossing, and I pulled the camera. I'm on my way back to the truck, and I look, right there's the horn to the big short tine 10. Right there. He almost shed on camera. I almost guarantee it. Here it is. Heck yeah. This is the one we were after. Oh, massive. There it is. How cool is that? Short tine 10. Beautiful deer. This is funny. So that first old shed I found is clearly him. So that would put this deer much older than I thought. He's probably going to just keep a rack like this for the rest of his life, because this is his other side was right on the other side of the creek, the one I found earlier this year. There he is, short tine 10. How awesome is that? Real wide frame, beautiful looking deer. Love to shoot this deer next year. Really cool. Not a bad day. Always happens when you're walking back to the truck. You know, these conditions were just sort of getting to me. It's bright. I've been snow plowing for the last 24 hours straight, or salting, and I'm tired. Sure enough, walked by this twice already this year, but there it is. Yeah, baby. Let's go. All right, well, next day I'm back at it. At a different piece of property. I decided to come to the neighbors, ask for permission to come into her piece of property. They've got about 100 acres here, and basically what it is one big giant wood lot in the middle of a bunch of cornfields. And a lot of times these bucks get in here and they stay here. This is right in between where I saw those shed bucks come out. Two of them were really big, had big blocky heads. I don't know if it was the buck that I found yesterday. I'm assuming maybe one of them was, but like I said, a lot of times he runs with the big 8, and then there's also a giant 8. He's kind of like the old man of the group. He has been in this area over the past. I've got friends that hunt on both sides of this particular piece of property, and they get pictures of him every so often, but it's like once throughout the year. So there's a good chance that I'm in his home territory. And you know, there's him, and there's a bunch of other deer. So a bunch of my targets could potentially be in here, and I know of a bunch of big bedding areas in this wood block. So I'm gonna go hit these bedding areas and just kind of browse around. The conditions are absolutely perfect today. Real overcast skies, crisp, cold. The ground is frozen, so I'm moving at a pretty good pace. But I'm gonna cruise through here. Hopefully my match or the big 8 is in here, and that would be awesome. I see a stick, I think. But anyway, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cruise through here, and I'm gonna hit some of these little bedding zones. And basically what it is kind of an interesting piece of property. There's always a lot of people in here, family members that have their ATVs all around it. And what I've noticed the deer do is they get out on the outside line and they kind of watch these little access trails. And it's just, I don't know why they do it, but they bed right up against this fence, and then they can see anybody coming. And as soon as somebody comes into these woods, they just disappear and roll out the back, and they can go a bunch of different directions. So I'm in a really good spot. This is a big buck paradise in here, and yeah, we're gonna cruise around and hopefully come up with something today. Here we go. Some big doo-doo right there. So these bucks are definitely doing it again. Kind of just sporadic little beds in here, but they love this line. They absolutely love the line here, and a bunch of deadfall kind of puts them in between that little trail and you know, they're bedding. It's not that much space. It's only so many yards. Look at how big these. This is. You know, this might sound weird, but this is huge poo. Huge poo. No, I'm not gonna eat it. But this is big. This is a big deer. Big poop normally equals big deer. But yeah, they love bedding in all this deadfall. And then basically, that's where they escape. They can run out into that field and escape, run away. Here's a bed. I guess the other advantage to them bedding in here, big bed right here. We can watch all that. We can watch that access. Well, and my tip of the day is when you have shed bucks in your area and you've got woods with lots of squirrels, you should probably try to hit the woodlots first. These squirrels do a number on antlers, and it doesn't take them long to find an antler and start chewing on it and ruin a beautiful antler. I got an absolute monster. I just about had a heart attack. I was coming through there. I can see it from here. It looks old, but it's big. It is a big 4-point. It's probably, I think it's old. Darn it. It's probably chewed up. I'm gonna pull out the camera and show you what I see from here. This is kind of cool. This is a long range find for me. It's a huge antler, but normally I find them within like a little 10-yard square. Like I said, I came over this hill or this log. I jump right here. I'm looking at that big giant deer sign. They're just bedding all over here. These big bucks are in here, and I look and I just about have a heart attack. Wait till you see this. This is pretty cool. Big tine sticking up right there. Huge antler. Oh yeah. Woo! I was looking with the binos. It's a huge antler. Huge. I didn't hit this spot last year, so darn it. Maybe got an old one. But anyway, let's pack up and make our way over there and check this thing out. Ah, it's old side. Oh no! Oh no way! It is fresh and it is the ghost! Ah! It's the big dog! Check it out! Oh! Yes! Look at that! Magnum. Oh my gosh. It looks like he just shed. The darn squirrels got him a little bit, but not enough to be bad. Oh, this is the big dog. I don't think this is, maybe it is the one I have the pictures to. Oh, maybe it is him. I don't know who this is. Gosh, if it's the big 8, oh, it is the big 8. This is the buck I have the pictures to. This is the deer that lives on our property right over here. It is him. That's clearly him. Oh my gosh. What a giant. I didn't think this deer was this big. Oh, yes. What an absolute monster. I can't tell you how heavy this thing is. This thing is super heavy. Yes! Yes! This thing is huge. We are gonna have to put a tape to this. He's probably not gonna score a whole lot, but boy, on mass, it is incredible. It's got kind of a short 3, but this is clearly the big buck that's been living on the other side. This was the one I was after. I just didn't think it was this big. There's another buck in here that, like I said, he's a ghost. We've got no pictures of him. I think we have some from last year. He looks a lot like this. Oh, I don't even know. I don't know. It's gotta be him. He's got that curve. Oh, Yes. This thing is incredible. It's so heavy. Massive, massive antler. Ah! Had to have been one of those bucks I saw coming out of here the other day. Look at how white that thing is. I actually thought this was an old side just because it was so bleached out. Such an incredible deer. Wow. Right off the trail. Right off the trail. So where I'm hunting is just on the other side of this field. Maybe this is his core woodlot. And I just got a little piece of him. Oh, hopefully we can match this up. Now I'm gonna have to really tear this place apart. Unbelievable. What a monster. Yes! This thing's huge. Huge. Alright. Well, so where I saw the shed bucks was actually on the other side of this woodlot. I've got some searching to do. I'm gonna comb this whole area here. I've been walking around for quite a bit. So we're gonna have to go back through and start looking for the match. And if not, we're gonna get out on the field and then I'm gonna run the line where I actually saw the deer. This deer could have shed 2 days ago. I mean, that's fresh blood. And I saw him over there. He could have shed his horn, got over there, halfway over there, shed his other horn somewhere, and hopefully I can pick it up. I know right where they were going and kind of the route that they take. So it might be in the corn, or I have no idea. I don't know where it's at, but that's my plan. I'm gonna start heading. I'm gonna do another loop in here, and I'm gonna head over there. Yeah.